Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you as usual. Let's see. Okay, Blue Sky is up, I think. Let me check. Oh, I didn't press enter. All right, Blue Sky's up. Blue Sky's up now. All right, let's see what we got. Welcome aboard, my dear brothers and sisters. Who's in the house? Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia is in the house. We have Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia in the house. We have AVQ from Brooklyn, New York in the house. And as people join in, we will call you out. We have Rachel Derenancourt says, when the kids were saying eat the rich during the Occupy movement, I was not being rich isn't a crime. I was like, no, being rich isn't a crime. Now I know these people are trash, straight trash. They have no decency. Okay, let me hear exactly which kids are trash. Let's see. Now I know these people are trash. Who do you mean specifically are trash, Rachel Darren Court? I want to make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying correctly. So please let me know exactly who you mean. Welcome aboard, Joe. Joe from LA. I think it's Los Angeles, right, Joe? If I'm wrong, correct me. You know I don't mind being corrected. If I'm LA, there you go. Hello, Joe from LA. You are from, in fact, LA. Our sister Joe. Let's see what we got here. Bear with me a second. I'm a little bit behind. I'm trying to get all our stuff up and running. Come on, guys. Let me get that up to the right domain. That you're there. And I need to click on you maybe after 4 seconds. And here we go. And we are officially estamos puesto. Joe from Los Angeles. Eric Hayes from Kingwood, Texas. Paul Fleming, LA, Lee Grant from Montgomery County, Patrick Magner from Houston, Lee the Bearcat, yo, he says, but I don't know where you're from. Let me know where you're from, and then we can talk. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. Let's see what Radden have in store. Reuters, third tanker sends distress call as oil washes up on Russia's Black Sea coast. Spilled oil has washed up along the 10 kilometers of the Russian Black Sea coast after two tankers were badly damaged in a storm at the weekend, a regional official said on Tuesday, and state media said a third ship was now in trouble. The ships Volgo Neft 109, Volgo Neft 212 were both more than 50 years old, were carrying some 9,200 metric ton or 62,000 barrels of oil in total, raising fears it would become one of the largest environmental disasters to hit the region in years. Deemed an accident following a winter storm, so many dead birds caught in the slick. Cleanup efforts have begun. The video included is heartbreaking. I'll look at that later on. Newsweek, Russian regions declare state of emergency after tankers split. Oh, they split in half. Madre mia. All right. Macaron also said, Berto, can you play this minute-long video from Blue Sky? A bird found on the beach. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. You know, sometimes you want to. Let's see if I can go ahead and get that out here for you, Rudnin. Let's put that here. And oh, you know, how did that caption come out incorrectly? I'm going to have to fix that when I play the next video. That caption for the show today is incorrect, but I'll get that fixed. Let's see the video. The video. Where is the video, Mr. Ratnin? I think you pointed to the wrong link in the chat. Go ahead and fix it up in the chat. Let me see if that is gonna come out with a good one or not. Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay, I see it. I see it. Let's go ahead and put that video on the screen now. Okay, let's see if I can get that video on the screen. We'll go here. Remember, I got all this stuff fixed, so now it should be okay. I think I got all this stuff fixed, so it should be okay now. Let's go ahead and get it started.
Видите, что происходит, собственно. Она вся в нефти бедолаги. Скажи, что с тобой? Это все в нефти. Как все? Я виноват, честно. Как вот, что вот теперь с ней сделать? Даже помочь не знаю как. Все в нефти, вот, все везде, все черное, черное, черное. Вот и первое.
Yeah, now cleaning up during a war is not going to be an easy thing at all. It's not going to be easy at all. Okay, let's see. Rachel Darenport says when the kids were. Oh, I read that one already, and I was asking her to specify who Trash was. Patrick Magner is in the house from Houston. Welcome, Patrick. And we also have coming in. Para ver. Anybody else I don't see? Okay. Paul Fleming says Trump says he wants to privatize USPS because it's unprofitable. Reminder that the post office isn't for profit enterprise, nor should it be. It's a public service that guarantees everyone in America reliable, affordable, and universal mail service. Again, when you talk about these confounded businessmen, remember these people have no heart, no soul. They have no social they have no social center at all. They just think about mighty capital. Remember that. Once you remember that, things become rather easy. Okay, what else have we got here? Let me see what else have we got here. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. The kids are not trash. Thank you very much, Rachel. I didn't think that's what you're saying, but I wasn't sure. The rich, selfish bastards are trash. The kids are right. Yeah, because again, if you take a look at how they got rich, this isn't rich envy or anything like that. This is because these are parasites that got wealthy off of the backs of all of us. And what behooves me is all these people that protect these guys thinking that somehow they are going to be wealthy too. Well, in the aggregate, they won't. And the reason they won't is in the aggregate, most Americans are good people. So they won't do the things that these evil beings did to get rich. Hello, Ray. How you doing, my brother? Nice to see you here. Ray from Houston, Texas. Skippy the Brat. I wonder how filthy the Black Sea is after 40,000 years of people living around it, not to mention the Soviet Union and Russia. Good point. We also have AVQ says all that black oil covering the beach, the birds are struggling. A lot of them will die. Bridge MCP says Egberto Maga and Rump always saying how great Rump was on border. Look at the numbers screen. I'm going, look, I spoke about it today, and you're going to hear it in the piece that I have. Let's go ahead and put that, though. You know, there's nothing like facts, right? But let me just say this, Bridge. These facts that you just put out there are good. And it's good that we're going to put it here. Understand that we have a few MAGA in our chat, or friends, that are immutable. It does not matter what evidence you bring them, they don't get it. They choose to be willfully ignorant. And that's not an insult. That's a statement of fact, because if you take a look at those numbers, it tells you everything, right? Under Donald Trump in 2016, Look at what the numbers were under Biden in 2023 and 2020 or 2024. Look at what the numbers are. It's again, but they don't want to acknowledge that, right? They don't want to acknowledge that. And the reason why they don't want to acknowledge that is because it puts all of their fallacies when they say, well, we voted for Trump because we voted for the ex-con. We voted for the guy the judge called a rapist. We voted for the guy that stole money from his employees. We voted for the guy that hold women by their crutches. We voted for that guy because after all, he was going to give us a good economy, good immigration, etc. And as we can see, that is definitely far from the fact. Was there an explosion in immigration in 21, 22, and 23? Yeah, but policies were passed to mitigate it. Policies were passed to mitigate it. Obama was higher by I mean, look, we get it. So you're absolutely right, Bridge MCP. Thank you for bringing that. Let's see what else we got here. Para ver. No, that's not what it says. It doesn't say Trump needs to up his numbers. What you see is what Bridge was trying to show in that thing are twofold. The increase in immigration started with Trump. If you take a look, okay, let's teach people how to read graphs, Bridge MCP. Let me see if my arrow works. Yeah, my arrow works. If you take a look at Obama, it was just under a million, and we start coming down. Obama's trend is down. Obama's trend is down. Obama's trend is down. But he comes in 2017. That is Trump. And what starts to happen under Trump? The trend is up. The trend is up. The trend is up. Biden comes in. We have the instances of the what we spoke about several times in Venezuela, Haiti, Haiti, and all these other places. We get this big spike as a result of that, of course. And then what Biden does, he starts to bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. So while Biden's trend line was down, Donald Trump's trend line was up. It's important that you learn how to read graphs and trends. Obama's trend line was down after inheriting from the Republican Bush. Look at it. That was Bush, where Obama started, and he consistently brought it down because Obama was actually called the deporter in chief because he deported so many people. Look at that trend from Obama going down. Comes into office, Mr. Trump. The trend starts to go up. It continues up with Biden. And as Biden is fixing the problem that Trump started, that increase again, look at that increase. It starts to come down, and he brings it down. Trump not once brought it down. Again, look at the trends. Trump not once brought it down. Biden brought it down. So we have to learn how to read graphs. We should learn how to read graphs. And I for the people that are on, let me go ahead, and for the people that are on Substack who can only see the middle, let me put it out there. As you can see, when Obama came into office from Bush, it was way up. Obama brought the trend down over his 8 years. Here comes a power, Mr. Trump, with all this hoopla, and he started the trend up, continuing with Biden. Of course, we had a lot of things with Biden as far as Venezuela, Haiti, etc. And then you see Biden's trend coming down. It's that simple, right? It's that simple. Graphs, if you're going to read graphs, understand it. Okay. All right, let's continue with what our peeps are saying. We have para ver. Joe says, is narcissism combined with sadism? A pure narcissist wouldn't be so self-harming. Add sadism. Now the ledger balance, it's not evil. It's the most terrible human behavior. I don't believe in evil. Well, you don't have to believe in evil, Joe, My term of evil, I think, defines what you're talking about, right? So, I mean, it's how to use the word. Skippy the Brat says, and let's not forget that they had a border deal ready to go, but Trump killed it because he needed the issue to run on. Exactly. Joe says, human behavior can be so terrible. We don't need mystical terms like evil, unfortunately. I get it. But not everybody who uses the words evil means it in the mystical form. So remember that as we speak to each other, let's not become a word police that says, when you use that particular word, that's the only thing you can mean. Because I am from another culture, and that culture, that word evil wouldn't take on any kind of mystic thing relative to the Bible, or not. Evil just mean you're just a damn bad person. Period. Okay, Michael Radner says, breach Democrats ceded the immigration policy to the right wing. Obama and Biden deported more than Trump did. And the messaging from both establishment Democrats and all Republicans was always to get harsher on the southern border. Personally, I want to hire more social workers to do rapid vetting of immigrants and refugees, making sure they are not terrorists, and then let them all in, settle them, use their skills, could be marketable. Of course, their skills are definitely marketable because they have skills, a lot of things that we don't have here in the United States. All right, let's see. Rachel Darencourt says increase in immigration during Trump was because Republicans stopped economic aid to many countries in South and Central America. They were desperate, not to speak about what our corporations did in Central America. Let's look at places like Guatemala, where they established their own little countries in Guatemala. Yeah, we don't read about that here, of course. Let's see what else. So Lee Grant says we need a chart showing percent illegal immigrants in the population over the past 8 years. That's not an important number at all. Bridge MCP said Mexico and the U.S. worked together to cut the flow, and they did. As for selling parts of wall, they have been for years. Texas got most of it. It was just laying around because Trump never built it. Bannon and his scam for the wall got him in prison. Now Rump is again going to build wall. He never did it in the first place. Melody Keelan from Barcelona, Spain is in the house. Welcome and happy to see you, our great Melanie from Barcelona, Spain. Let's see. Joe says, I get using evil also. I am just wary of it because then people think they could never do anything so bad. Awareness, and I meant no offense. Oh, no, 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 beautiful Joe. I, you know, I never take offense. I know exactly what you're saying. I just wanted to impart to the rest of the people that, because a lot of folks use that word without the mystic intent. So I just wanted to make folks, kind of lay that out there. But no, let me tell you something, sis. You can tell me anything, and you'll always be my sis. I mean, I asked Bridge MCP. Sometimes Bridge MCP look at me and tell me, Egberto, you're getting on my nerves. Don't do X, Y, and Z. Or she would text me and give me a piece of her mind. She understands that we are all a team here. We are all the PDR posse. All right. Rachel Darren Nuncourt says also the U.S. could have had a sound immigration policy during the Obama administration. Ted Kennedy wanted this before he died. The Republicans wanted no immigration from Spanish speaking countries. Exactly. And they just bust the Ukrainians in right past all those brown people coming from the South and those black folks coming from Haiti. It's amazing, right? There you go. That's hilarious. I just mansplained. Yeah, girl, you just mansplained me. Notice what I'm saying, right? Notice what I'm saying. You get the joke, right? Anyhow, I got a video for you guys. Of course, I don't have it loaded. I just cleaned it up. It's a video I did this morning at KPFT. Actually, it's my soliloquy at KPFT, but I always clean it up for the 3 o'clock show, and I want to play that if I can find it, and I know I can. Guys, I was so late. I don't even have the Daily Coast feed up yet. So while this is playing, I'm going to get the daily feed, the Daily Coast feed up. So I wait a minute, where is the darn thing? You know, I can't find the file now. Come on, file, where are you? I know I processed you. So where are you? Let me make sure I did in fact process. Yeah, it says you're processed. It says your process, and let me see, where are you though? Are you in PDR files? Yes, you are. So why can't I find you? Spineless, where are you? Spineless, I'm looking for you. Guys, it's one person running the program here, so sometimes I have some issues finding the files that I need to play. But we're going to find it. I am going to will that file into fruition. All right. So where are you? There you go. I found it. Okay. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side. Let me clean that up. Clean that up. Here we go. Robert Reich wrote a piece. He called it Spineless Greedy CEOs Are Lining Up to Lick Trump's Backside. At a time in American history when the most influential leaders of the U.S. need to stand up loudly and clearly for the rule of law, democracy, and decency, they're leading the charge in the opposite direction. Yes, those are the CEOs, but we never said CEOs were strong. We never said CEOs had a lot of steers. What CEOs are the masters of capitalism. They are the masters of the particular economic structure that we have that makes the few a lot of money. Anyone recall the time in the late summer of 2017 when prominent CEOs resigned from U.S. President Donald Trump's business councils in protest at his defense of white nationalists who marched in Charlottesville after Trump called them very fine people? I thought America's CEOs might become a bulwark against Trump's extremism, but I was wrong. So says Robert Reich. Within months, the CEOs were seeking to get back into Trump's good graces. After the insurrection unleashed by Trump against the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, many CEOs announced they wouldn't be financing the campaigns of election deniers. CEOs of prominent social media banned Trump from appearing. I hoped their actions would limit Trump's fanaticism and Trump's growing MAGA movement. I was wrong, says Robert Reich. Within 2 years, the CEOs were financing the campaigns of election deniers. Within 3 years, prominent social media were allowing Trump to return to their platform and retell his lies. I digress. Yesterday, as I'm writing my 3 o'clock show, I look on the screen and there was Trump giving a news conference. And it was deja vu all over again. And for my brothers and sisters that are MAGA listening, I promise you, I do not suffer from the Trump derangement syndrome. I don't have TDS. What I have is whenever someone is overtly lying, that's one thing. When they're overtly lying to a group of journalists and the journalists are just sitting down, taking this stuff in, and we know that the journalists know that he's lying, but they're allowing it to go over their airwaves unchallenged. And at the same time, in that regards, fool people into, well, if the journalists are there and they don't object to what he's saying, they don't correct what he's saying, they don't point out that he's a liar as he is saying it, then it is new food. It's new energy for MAGA because they don't know any better. For the average American citizen, they don't know any better. They're working, taking care of their kids. Their job isn't to do what the journalist's job is to do. We have a fourth estate for a reason. We have journalism for a reason, to keep all else in check. When you have politicians lying, they should be out there telling the American people Donald Trump is lying. And that didn't occur yesterday on his long drawn out press conference. And I sat there listening. And my blood started boiling. And I'm like, it's not America's fault that this guy got reelected. Journalism, it's your fault because you give what he says plausibility with your dereliction of duty. Anyway, continuing with Robert Reich. I confess to having had a moment's thought during the last 8 months that Trump's conviction on 34 criminal counts in Manhattan, his civil conviction for defamation in connection with what a judge termed rape, and his disgraceful nativism, describing poor poorer nations as a shit holes, using terms redolent of Nazism to describe foreigners as poisoning the blood of Americans, and baselessly accusing Haitians immigrants of eating our pets might force CEOs to rethink their willingness to give Trump a pass. No such luck. Amazon's founder and chief, Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, had a rocky relationship with Trump in the first Trump administration. Angry with Bezos over unfavorable reporting in the Post, Trump questioned whether Amazon got a sweetheart deal with the U.S. Postal Service. Amazon, in turn, accused Trump of improperly pressuring the Pentagon to deny the company a major cloud computing contract. Bezos apparently learned his lesson after Trump was shot at a campaign event. Bezos called him on social media, praise Trump's grace and courage under literal fire. That's what the man came close to death. A bullet aimed at him missed and hit his ear. I was in Baltimore when this occurred. I was doing Netroots. And, I saw all the memes that really were like, dang, he missed. I never wanted that bullet to hit. Donald Trump is a horrendously terrible, evil person. But I thought that taking that guy out would be two things. One, it would be a disgrace to the person who did it. Why would you stoop to that level for this guy? And secondly, we want the ballot box to be the place that rules our politics. Our politics ruled by the ballot box. Bezos didn't allow the Post editorial board to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris for president. So the editorial board that is supposed to be independent, Bezos, as owner of the paper, says you cannot print that endorsement of Kamala Harris saying that Kamala Harris was the better choice for the presidency. That is fascism, folks. When you start to change the behavior of the private sector, when you start to change the behavior of the media because of that leader, that is fascism. Industry, journalism, and all facets of your economy being modified to suit the will of your Führer, that is fascism. We are living it. It has already started. We are living fascism, folks. And it creeps up on you. And right now, I can still be on air saying the things that I'm saying. I digress from the piece right now to point this out. I've been in conference calls and etc. about what's going to happen when the media or if the media eventually caves in. Then the independent media is pretty much forced out in many different ways. You don't have to be forced out by somebody coming to your station with a gun and arresting you. You can be forced out in the new media's way of using the internet by throttling. I've already noticed many of us progressive networks have actually been throttled on the internet. There are other ways to get at the independent media. So what we've been talking about is how do we get around the throttling? How do we get it? Throttling means that they don't allow your internet stream to get to all the places that it normally would get to. They make sure you don't get distributed widely. So what I'm telling every independent journalist right now, every independent media, every average American citizen with a sphere of influence. And when I say a sphere of influence, you may not understand that people, when you're on Facebook or Telegram or Instagram or TikTok or all these other platforms, you have a sphere of influence. And if your sphere of influence starts to grow, you could be throttled by one of the billionaires who owns many of these different platforms. Bezos as Amazon, Green, the guy who owns Google, the guy who owns Facebook, Zuckerberg, etc. Notice they are moseying up to Trump right now. What happens when Trump says, hey, there's this person on your platform that a lot of reach has been giving me a hard time. And they don't have to do anything. They don't have to say anything. They just have to, from the coding point of view, ensure that your commentary doesn't get to a whole lot of people or to a group of people. One of the things that we're telling folks right now, build your mailing list, build your telephone list, build all different forms of communicating that you have right now. Because they can get some, they can't get all of them all of the time. But the networking of thousands of small people with spheres of influence is what we will need to do to defeat fascism that is led by Trump and the billionaire CEOs. Note his administration is being run by billionaires before it has even started. They have started sucking up. Continuing, not to be outdone in the groveling department, Meta's Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg got a dinner invitation at Mar-a-Lago. Meta is putting $1 million into Trump's inaugural fund. Of course, you know Bezos is as well from Amazon. It is an important time for the future of American innovation, Meta said in a statement. Mark was grateful for the invitation to join President Trump for dinner. Zuckerberg sought it. He sought it. It wasn't an invitation. He sought it. And the opportunity to meet with members of his team about the incoming administration. There's not a damn thing about innovation from the Trump administration. If we take a look at what Biden invested in both chips and technologies, etc., that is the administration that actually thought about investing in innovation, not Trump. Stephen Miller, Trump's incoming deputy chief of staff for policy, told Fox News that Zuckerberg has been very clear about his desire to be a supporter of and a participant in this change we're seeing all around America and the world with this reform movement that Donald Trump is leading. In his first administration, Trump accused Facebook of filtering out views favorable to him. He even called Zuckerberg to be jailed in retaliation for plotting against him during the 2020 election. Now, like Bezos, Zuckerberg has turned to fawning. During the campaign, he had several private phone calls with Trump. After the assassination attempt, Zuckerberg told Trump he was praying for him and told an interviewer Trump looked like a badass after pumping his fist to the crowd. These are CEOs. These are billionaires. They don't care about you. You know, some of you get mad when I knock up these billionaires as parasitic fascists, parasites that they are. Because they don't create anything, you do. And you get mad if we jump on them when they're abusing you with a smile. Elon Musk and half of Silicon Valley is kissing Trump's derriere, according to Mr. Reich. Last January, speaking from the World Economic Forum's confab in Davos, Jamie Dimon, chair and CEO of JP Morgan Chase, the largest and most profitable bank in the United States and one of the most influential CEOs in the world, heaped praise on Trump's policies while president the first time. Take a step back, be honest, Dimon said. Trump was kind of right about NATO. Kind of right on immigration. He grew the economy quite well. Tax reform worked. That was out of the mouth of Jamie Dimon, a billionaire who claimed to have a modicum of intelligence, who would like you to believe he's a truthful person, who would like you to believe that he knows what he's talking about. But here's the analysis. Remember, he heaped praises on Trump for immigration, economy, and more. Robert Reich blew that apart. Here's what Robert Reich had to say. Kind of right about NATO? Trump wanted the U.S. to withdraw from the pact and may get his way after January 20th. This would open Europe further to Russian President Vladimir Putin's aggression. Kind of right about immigration? Even the conservative Cato Institute found that he reduced legal immigration, but not illegal immigration. Trump refused to grant legal status to children of immigrants born in the United States or who grew up here and tried to ban Muslims from the U.S. Grew the economy quite well. In fact, under Trump, the economy lost 2.9 million jobs. Even before the pandemic, job growth was slower than it's been under Biden. Unemployment rate increased by 1.6 percentage points to 6.3%. The international trade deficit that Trump promised to reduce increased. The number of Americans lacking health care increased by more than 3 million people. Come on, billionaires. We know that you don't care about middle class folks, but all the things we just mentioned affected middle class people. Tax reform worked. Trump tax cut conferred most of its benefits on big corporations and the rich, while exploding the federal debt from $14.4 trillion to $21.6 trillion. Why did Diamond, the most influential CEO in America, spout these lies in favor of Trump? Because he thought Trump had a good chance of becoming president, and Diamond wanted to be in his good graces. Folks, that is where executives are at. They don't give a damn about you. They go wherever they can moose up to ensure their billions continue to grow. Don't fall for the con. And to those who take offense when I talk about the capitalist system being a system that simply create parasites that get rich while everybody else works, that is a mathematical formula. Every system, we learned back when I did engineering at the University of Texas, we were able to model systems, mechanical systems, electrical systems, and hydraulic systems. They all have the same functionality when you put them all together. And the same happens with capitalism versus free enterprise, etc. They are all models, and you can all define the systems within the models and how it works. You can create a formula that governs that system, and the formula that governs the system called capitalism as practiced in the United States is a parasitic formula. Those who go to business school and run the system of the stock market and runs the systems of capitalization, etc., they are the ones that get the most out of the economy. They get rich, but they are the ones that produce nothing. The formula, their portion within the economic system is that portion that produces nothing. It's hard to understand after having been indoctrinated from birth in this country. But if you look at the mathematical formula governing capitalism, it is a parasitic formula. Folks, we have to have a media, an independent media that is willing to inform. Absolutely so, folks. Absolutely so. We have to have a media that must have a media that truly, truly informs. So yeah, folks, that's what we're talking about here. Capitalism. And you see what these guys, the CEOs, are doing. All right, let me go back to your chats right now. Para ver. Yeah, I noticed that with Snopes, Michael. It's not only Snopes that's doing this, and they've done it before. Everybody is trying to clean up for Trump. But you know what they act like, Michael? They act like we don't have videos of what Trump says. They act like we don't have the policies that Trump passed. It is the biggest snow job there is. It's almost like clean the record up because America has elected a felon. So we wanted it to kind of look like it really wasn't a felon that we got elected, that it was just politics. No, it wasn't just politics. We elected a deviant. We elected somebody that doesn't respect women. We elected somebody that talks about grabbing women by their private parts. We elected somebody that created fraudulent 501c3s, profits, and stole from his nonprofit. He created a false university and stole the people's monies, and that's why he had to pay them back $25 million. Yes, we elected a tax cheat. Yes, we elected a liar who overvalued his homes in order to rip banks off. And people say, well, that's a victimless crime. No, if a bank lends more money to Trump than he deserves, what that means is other people who need loans from that particular bank won't get it because, again, he took what is not his fair share. But isn't that what the corporatocracy always do? Take what's not their fair share. And we have so many people that are out there ready to defend these guys that says, could you kick me a little harder? Kick me again, please. I'll be your sucker. Madre mia carajo. But you know what? As we speak together, we educate each other, and except for those that are, again, prejudiced and just can't see past that prejudice, others will be sufficiently I don't want to sound I don't want condescending, but others will be educated because we have good people in here like Brij MCP, Rudnin, and Joe, and that are out there, and Ray out there being real, and E2247, being real. All right, let's see. Mike, I actually put the net neutrality article that I wrote in there. Let me put that on the screen. I did that a while back when the fight for net neutrality was on. So I co-wrote this article with Kian Bliss when at the time we were working on 28th Amendment, move to amend. So yeah, we've been working on this net neutrality for a long, long, long time. Check out that article at Common Dream. It is still valid. Okay, let's go back to the screen here. See what else people are saying. Tax reform did work for Jamie Dimon. Skip it, a brat. I love that. That is really a perfectly right statement. Let's see. Lee Grant says censorship is a hallmark of leftist fascism. No, it isn't. I don't know in what continent fascism is associated with the left. I mean, I think about it. You guys reinvent stuff, man. No, fascism was never a left thing. All right, let's see. We have Skippy the Brat says, thanks for heads up, AVQ, for letting me know that if I go to YouTube, I can ignore the trolls. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's see. What else have we got here? Let's see. 4 days later, in December 5th, the hospital was bombed again, injuring 12 civilians. Where are your numbers, E2247? Do we have new numbers for today? I don't see them. I don't see the new numbers for today. So anyway, let me continue here. But thank you for giving us that info. He stole from kids with cancer. Exactly. I forgot about that one, Skippy. Thank you for reminding me about that. And guess what? Even though the evidence is there, this is what sycophancy look like, folks. Even though the evidence is there, even though a lot of it came out of Donald Trump's mouth, here's what Mike Cisak says. So many falsehoods by Egberto. Oh my God, Egberto has been giving us so many falsehoods. Really? I don't think you can possibly name one. But okay, I'm all ears. Come on, man, grow up. All right, Tom Zarnik says, no such thing as leftist fascism. Fascism is a far-right form of government in which most of the country's power is held by one ruler or a small group under a single party. Fascist governments are usually totalitarian and authoritarian one-party states. Under fascism, the economy and other parts of society are heavily and closely controlled by the government, usually by using a form of authoritarian corporatism where companies and workers are supposed to work together under national unity. The government uses violence and police power to arrest, kill, and stop anyone it does not think useful. Again, Tom, thank you. We try to educate as best we can, but the right does a lot of things like that. They try to make things out to be what is the word that I like to use? They try to change the meaning of words, right? They try to change the meaning of words when it doesn't suit them. That's why liberal used to have a good connotation, and they were successful in making people scared of calling themselves a liberal. Well, I'm neither scared of saying the word liberal or progressive. So there you go. All right, let's see what else we got here. Skippy the Bright says, remember, the first they came from the socialists poem. That was literally how it went. Yes, my dear Skippy. And Bree says, and she's speaking to Skippy the Brat, FB goes everywhere. YouTube and Twitch see all, they don't see us. However, they do troll YouTube but reply on FB. We can't get rid of them. Oh, I love you, Breach. I love you, girl. You know that, right? You know that, right, Breach? Okay. Eric K says Tom is Let's see what I got here. Dow tumbles for ninth day in a row. It's the longest losing streak. I thought the Dow was going to do great because Donald Trump is in power, and folks know that when he comes into power, the economy is just going to explode and do great as he throw tariffs on, as he raises inflation with the tariffs that he's going to cost, because most MAGA don't understand how tariffs work. Madre mia, carajo, pinga. All right. Michael Hernandez says you can educate those who refuse to listen. That is very true. They only knee jerk react. Yeah, they do. But again, you have to ask what's behind it. And most of what you'll find behind it is a certain level of prejudice. They wait for trigger words and then jump on the disagreement that they've been primed for without bothering hearing the context. Yeah, again, critical thinking. That is the first thing that goes. Critical thinking. And what we do is we try to establish that. Okay, Lee Grant says under fascism, the economy and other parts of the economy are heavily and closely controlled by the government, like what progressives want to do. Oh, no, that's not true at all. But let's listen to our brother Magner. Mr. Patrick, how are you doing, sir?
Good afternoon. I hope I'm not interrupting.
Oh no, I don't have it. I only had that one video that video took me wait a minute. AI is coming and writing down everything we're saying. Let me see if I know how to disable that. Everything is AI these days, you know? Everything is
Yeah,
AI, AI. Okay, I got to figure out how to shut
takes
that
a lot of
down.
electricity.
I know. You know, we got to create a program about that because we have all these Bitcoin folks talking about helping the economy. All it does is a Bitcoin in the long run costs more than a Bitcoin. It's a shame, but anyway, go ahead, brother.
We were talking about the global economy, and everybody was gonna have cheap eggs, and we were gonna show these countries how to act around us, and we were gonna show them, and they were gonna bend a knee to King Trump, and now all of a sudden, uh, more countries are joining BRICS. Um, People are leaving the dollar behind.
Yep.
This is probably this is probably the worst we've ever been in international relationship. All Trump has done is he's further isolated a country who is no longer first.
Mm-hmm.
China has a better economy than we do, and they're supporting other countries. So Trump thought that he's going to cut all these people off. What they're doing is they're cutting us off,
You know,
and we're
I
going to
am.
be isolated. We're not going to have materials to import. We're going to have massive job layoffs probably, because even if we're making our own dishwashers, we're not going to be able to get parts for them. We're not going to be able to get wiring for them. We're not going to be selling chips to other people. We effed up.
You know
we,
what?
we are
Let
in
me
a bad
let me tell
situation.
you. You know what? I want we have to remember those words because here's the thing. Uh, the reason I have so much respect for the Mexican president, the woman, right, is because she came out boxing when Donald Trump threatened with tariffs. She came out boxing. A lot of people didn't see it that way, but they didn't translate the Spanish the way they should have translated the Spanish, right? There's a lot of shouldn't say colloquialism, but there are a lot of inferences in her Spanish that didn't come across in the English version. She pretty much called him out and said, remember, Trump, you're the guys with the problem. You are the guys with all, I mean, come out swinging. Yeah. What did I say, Radin? What? I didn't say come out swinging. You know what I meant. But tell me, I'm curious what I said. Anyhow, it is so important what you just said, Patrick, because she in that letter, when I saw that letter, I found it in Spanish first, and I'm like, oh my God, she just about told Donald Trump where to shove it, and also telling him, you tax us, we'll do the same thing to you. Okay, I mean it was great. Anyway, what else is up, brother Patrick?
We have no place to build these cars anymore. I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna get new cars because they're made everywhere but here. They might be final assembly, but that's it. And Ford already went through this. So did Chevy. They tried to build trucks out of the country and construct them as if they were a car, and then converted them to trucks when they're here, and they got sued and they lost. And what Trump's doing would be effective if he could, possibly effective if you could build a factory in a year, but it takes 20 years to build a factory.
Yeah, I mean,
And so,
people don't understand the complexity of these factories because, they all know it's done with robots, right? But the robots are not programmed and calibrated in a month or two because it's an assembly line. I don't know if people ever been to one of these factories and understand how robots work. It's you have to build the cars with the intent that it's going to use the robots, and you have to have I mean, it's a complex system to take it. But you are so right. Here's the deal. America has screwed itself with the election of Donald Trump. You cannot be wrong and strong when you're only 3 to 5% of the population. You can't be, right? That's all we are. We may have the largest economy and the world may be based on the dollar, but ultimately we are no more than, I think, what is it now? Is it 3 or 5% of the population? Somewhere around there. We cannot determine the rest of the world. And if the rest of the world gang up on us because we've made everybody our enemies, then that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to gang up on us, and beware.
yeah, I think that we're at 4.5% of the population. And what's
Okay.
interesting is we consume 23% of the world's goods.
There you go.
We can't make all that. We can't make all that.
There
And
you go.
so all this is going to be cut off from us. Nobody's going to want to do business with us. We think that. Well, don't include me, and I'm not including you, but a lot of people in the United States think that, okay, we elected a strong man, and he's gonna put these people in their place. No, they just put us all in their place. They were doing us
Exactly.
a favor by using the dollar.
Listen,
I just wanted to point that out.
I appreciate your call, Patrick. You have a wonderful rest of your day. We're right about out of time right now. So thank you for calling in, brother.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Peace. Hey, but Patrick nailed it, right? At some point, America is going to realize, yeah, it's only 4.5% of the population. And while it has enough nukes to blow the world up, so does Russia, and so does the EU, right? So mutual assured destruction is still pretty darn good. Okay, gotta go. Y'all have fun. Okay, Skippy the Brat, thank you for having been here. Anyway, folks, before I go, I gotta say, folks, please consider doing one of several things today I want to ask you. There are several ways to support us. I'm going to give you the first way is to go buy our books. And what are our books? Let me put the books out there. I assure you, you will learn a lot from them. politicsdoneright.com/books. You can just go to politicsdoneright.com/books. I'm showing the books on the screen right now. politicsdoneright.com/books. We have great books. But you know how you can read all of the books free of charge? If you become a subscriber, a paid subscriber of our newsletter, can read all our books at Substack. And so that is another way to help. Again, what you're doing really, all these things subsidize our media network here. Remember what I talked about the mainstream media, how they're not giving us the proper information, the proper narratives. We do that. I just got off of a call today with the social, with the World Social Alliance, where it was with people in Canada, here, and other parts of the world, where we're really trying to do things right. Okay. Lee the Bearcat, I just called you out. Lee the Bearcat, thank you for being here. Hey, Lee, where are you from? Okay. So again, if you go ahead and go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter and be a paid subscriber, you can read all our books free of charge. And by the way, there's another caveat. Even any new book that I write will also be placed on Substack for you to read. Likewise, we'll have live chats and other gimmicks for those people who decide to support what we're doing via our newsletter. But if you don't want to use a newsletter as a means of support, you can always support us via a lot of different ways, and you can find that at politicsdoneright.com/support. But again, the way I would really love for to get up to build up is the revenue that we get from the newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. I want to first thank you all. Love you all. Thank you for being here every day. And by the way, I want to tell you, we've been testing this for the new year. We're now streaming to Instagram. We're streaming to Telegram. We're streaming to Instagram, Telegram, and Substack, Twitch, YouTube, several others. But to let you know, you can find us all over anywhere. Lee the Bearcat from Austin. I went to the University of Texas in Austin. My best spot, my romantic spot, was Mount Bonnell, right on the top, looking over the lake and that beautiful bridge right at dusk. Oh man, it's beautiful. I love Austin. Anyway, folks, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.